Hi, and welcome to the Teach and Learning Archive Session 8. Today's session, we're going to stay with the Teaching Champion, and we're going to look at improving efficiency of transitions. Three techniques we're going to cover. Technique 36, which is means of participation. Technique 28, which is called Brighton Lines, and technique 53, which is called Be Seen Looking. We're going to start with, and we would start with in this sequence of activities, means of participation. And this is simply cueing how you want students to work at the front of instructions. An example of this might be, in silence, on your own, complete the Do Now quiz. So the bit in red there, in silence on your own, is the means of participation. You're signaling to students how you want students to complete this task. Another example might be when I say go, turn to your partner and discuss, etc. So again, you've got your means of participation in red. And a final example would be, without calling out, can anyone tell me? So there you have means of participation, making it clear to students how you want a task to be completed. After means of participation, we move to Brighton Lines. So when you brighten lines, you're making the beginnings and endings of activities clear and crisp. So this would be an example of brightening lines. Okay, you have 3 minutes to write a response to this question. Ready? You pause and then go. So ready is that kind of, we're just getting them all ready in the right place. The pause is an anticipation for the students, just a second or two maximum. And then go is when they would respond. And because you get them all moving together, or you get the majority moving together, you get 80% of them moving straight on that go, then the others tend to go at the same time because we have that kind of herd mentality, that social response, where one goes, we all go. However, you need to be aware that tone and cadence is important for the type of activity. So the one I got on screen at the minute might be where you want high tempo, students moving into a task quite quickly, quite a punchy activity. I mean, if you want something a bit more thoughtful, then you might go with something like this. Fascinating question. Who is the hero of this book? You have 5 minutes to reflect in writing. Pause. Who is the hero and how do you know? And then you slow your cadence and you whisper, begin. And that kind of slowing of the cadence and the whispering is trying to bring the students' thought and energy down to where it needs to be to complete the task. You're altering your tone and your cadence. You're still trying to create that moment where they all move together, but the tone and the cadence is about getting them the right energy level, the right sort of state of mind for completing the task. From Brighton Lines, we move into Be Seen Looking. So now we should have the students moving into the task, and now we need to be seen looking, which is the students can see us looking. We don't have to do anything apart from look like we're looking. Two ways we do that. One is called Pastor's Perch, where you move to a space in your classroom where you can get the greatest field of view of the entire class. You can see, without having to crane your head or anything like that, you can see pretty much 100% of the students. And all you do then is you are seeing looking. So you are raising your eyebrows, you are looking around the classroom, making eye contact with those that are not engaging, craning your head, etc. So that's called Be Seen Looking. If you can't get the Pastor's Perch, which I know some teachers can't because they're set up in their classroom, then you head to the center of the classroom and you do what we call the radar activity, which is literally moving your head backwards and forwards on a radar, left and right. And at the same time, you are scanning to see if students are engaged in the task. So those would be the three techniques for today. If we're going to sequence these techniques to improve transitions, then we're going to pop a few more in. We would always start with means of participation. So you're clear to the students how you want them to engage, in the task. Number two, would you be Brighton Lines? You're going to create that pop moment where they are going to start together as one team, if you like. Then you would move to wherever you move to for Be Seen Looking. And then you would, if you need to be, narrate the positive. That keeps that the normal nature of the moving together. And then you take the least invasive intervention if required. So I'm going to leave you the challenge, and the challenge is to practice this sequence of techniques to improve your own transitions this week. And again, without practice, this stuff doesn't get better, so it does take some practice. There's something to think about as you're practicing, or either at the end of this video. What are your most common means of participations that you request students to engage with? So that's number one there. Number two would be, Are you consistent, clear, and crisp in the language you use as you front load those instructions? Are you consistent? I guess that's the most important one. So students are getting the same consistent message every single time. And then in terms of brightening lines, what language do you currently use to brighten lines? Have you already steady go, or have you got something else? Is it the best you can possibly be? It'd be interesting to see what other people are doing as well with that. And then also, do you use a different phrases, tone, and cadence for the different types of activity? So I suspect some of this will just make you a little bit more reflective about how you do things in the classroom.